I can't hear you. There we go. Spotify. Oh. Right, pretty good song, dude. Did you hear the Did you hear the rap verse I added to it? I posted it in the Pixel Punks thing. Cool beans. Continue this game, huh? My audio's good, right? All is well. All's well that ends well. Great. Time to defeat the British. The adventure of the unbreakable speckled band.
In a corner of that small, dark room, Sholmes and I waited with bated breath. In time, there came from the ventilator a hiss and a soft, almost growl-like sound. Suddenly, Sholmes sprang into action, lashing furiously with his cane at a point in the darkness. "You see it, Wilson?" he yelled, his tense voice reverberating through the air. I raised my dark lantern's shutter, and the room slowly came into view. Sholmes was staring intently at one particular corner when he started whispering to me. The victim's most perplexing final words. The speckled band. I believe this is the terrible coil to which she referred, Wilson. In front of us was an enormous adder, its fangs bared as it threatened to strike. It truly was the most terrible speckled band I had ever seen.
Really? 9th of January, 6:37 a.m. On board the steamship Booyah.
So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder. Pray, do excuse me. The cabin door was bolted from the inside when the man was killed. No marks to suggest the bolt was tampered with in any way. So, this would appear to be a locked room mystery. In his final moments, the victim scrawled a message on the floor. Almost certainly with the ink from this upset bottle. A Russian word. So the victim was a Russian man then. And the letters are well formed, suggesting he was compos mentis at the time. This is a most extraordinary script. And evidently not penned by the same hand as this message. In fact, I deduce it was written by someone of a different nationality. This paper seal was placed just prior to the incident, by the victim himself, I would venture. Well, what have we here?
Who are you, and what do you think you're doing here?
No one must touch before maritime police come. We must wait!
Shh. That won't be necessary. You see, in less than 5 seconds from now, I will reveal the killer to you.
What? Don't be absurd. This is murder. And in cabin locked from inside.
Ah yes, the locked room. But
Why does he sound like fucking Frankenstein instead of sounding like a Russian man?
You don't mean the culprit is in there?
Who are you, and where have you come from?
I'm a great British consultant detective, the only one in the world. Sherlock Sholmes. I presume you must have heard of me.
I presume you must have heard of me. What a handsome lad. My head's throbbing. What's going on? It's not right here. There's trouble in the air. Jesus Christ. Wait. I can't move. What the? Why am I in handcuffs? So you wake up now, Russian guy. We had to drag you out of the wardrobe. Do not believe you could not wake up. You are a true cold-blooded man. You found me then. Duh, we found you. And now you pay, criminal. How long are you hiding in that tiny wardrobe, Sorry. Now you have been found. It is time to admit your crimes. Unless you want to find out how cold the ocean is. Hmm?
No, I'll tell you everything.
There's only one thing I'd like to know from you.
Isn't that?
Oh. Damn it.
Why did you do it? Why'd you take his life? Mr. Sato! Wait, what did you just say? Take his life? Where is he? Where's Kazuma?
You pretend you do not know. You are a wolf in sheep's pelt. You are the killer. Do not try to make excuses.
What? Kazuma-sama's body was discovered not long ago. Here, in this very cabin, it was bolted shut from the inside. His body?
Please, do not try to tell us you were doing this terrible thing in your sleep.
Kazuma's dead? He can't be. And these handcuffs. Surely you don't think I
Have to know.
Why did you take Kazuma-sama's life? Answer me, please! No! No! Kazuma! That's just 2 short weeks ago. You sure about this? Won't we get in trouble?
Don't you find it fun being a stowaway? Besides, how else would you come to England with me to study?
Really something else when they brought your luggage in here earlier, though. The way that Russian crewman just tossed your traveling case onto the floor? I thought I was gonna die.
Yeah, still can't believe that. I really didn't think you'd be able to fit inside my trunk. You must be even less of a man than you look.
Hey! Honestly, I thought I'd broken every bone in my body.
Well, it's about 50 days until we dock in Great Britain. If you confine yourself in my cabin here, I don't expect anyone will discover you.
I hope not. Get the feeling those Russians wouldn't be very forgiving of a stowaway.
You're a sturdy bunch, that's for sure. What I want to know is, why do we need to keep it a secret from the young lady?
Why do we need to keep it from the secret?
You know, you get it. From our faithful judicial assistant Mikotoba, you mean?
From your close friend, more to the point. Surely we could confide in her, couldn't we? I don't believe she'd give me away.
No, but she knew what we'd done. That would make her guilty by association. Best that only you and I know about this.
Suppose so.
Anyway, about time that the steward's supposed to come and clean the cabin. I know it's cramped, but you'd better go in there, I think. It won't be for long. And anyway, compared to hiding inside my traveling case, it'll be a breeze.
Yeah, but what if the steward decides to open the wardrobe for some reason? Then I'll be in for it.
Stop worrying. Tell you what, why don't you write keep out or something on this piece of paper?
What?
Then I can stick it over the wardrobe doors once you're inside.
I don't know. I've only been at sea for about 15 days. How can this have happened? We're supposed to be going on this adventure to England, together.
We leave you at next port. Stay quiet until then. Don't make more trouble for yourself. Murderer.
No, I'm not a murderer.
Duh, you said before. You said you admit everything about your crimes.
No, that's not right. I mean, yeah, I did stow away on this ship, but murdering my best friend?
No one else could have done it. Admit the truth.
Susato-san. Please, tell me what happened. I need to know.
Very well. But there's something I would like to ask of you too.
Those eyes. Looks like she's ready to destroy me. This nightmare is getting worse by the minute. Suppose all I can do is try to find out what really happened.
Gotta be honest, I did not expect Kazuma to die. I thought he was gonna be like a prosecutor or something that you had to fight at the end. But I guess he's dead. Damn. You knew what happened the whole time? You're so smart, dude.
He really has been killed, hasn't he? This isn't just a bad dream? And these handcuffs. You think I did it? You think I'm Kazuma's killer?
When they found him in the cabin, it was locked from the inside.
What do you mean?
There's no access to the cabin via a porthole window, and the bolt on the door can't be operated from outside. In other words, after the crime, the culprit couldn't have escaped these four walls.
What?
Or to put it another way, the culprit could only have been somebody inside this cabin. Or do you have some other explanation? How do you figure? Unkind how?
How did he die then? What happened exactly?
Are you still going to deny the charge? Even despite the circumstances?
Please, Susato-san. You have to tell me.
The cause of death is still undetermined. Oh, I just wanted to do something different with her voice, just like, so that I wasn't just speaking normally. And I was just like, I don't know, she's a forensics nerd. I'll just do like a nerd voice.
You don't know how he died?
The ship's doctor is examining the body, but of course, he has no post-mortem analysis experience. I don't suppose we shall learn more until an expert has been consulted on our next port of call.
So presumably that means there were no obvious external signs of injury then?
That's true, yes.
Can't anyone tell me what actually happened here in this cabin? I don't understand it. Why would anybody want to kill Kazuma?
Presumably, that's something you'd know the answer to better than anyone.
Please.
Whatever you say, you were here in the cabin after all.
Oh, yeah, I was, but...
He would always wake before dawn and do his training first time in the morning. I was waiting outside his cabin, as I have every day so far on this voyage. This morning, he did not come. I could sense that he wouldn't.
Does that mean... he was already dead when Susato-san arrived at his cabin door? I wonder.
I knocked, but there was no reply. Then I started to become worried, so I went to find a member of the crew. The crewmen forced the door open, and when I managed to get inside, there was Kazuma-san, collapsed on the floor.
And the white tape now shows exactly where he was found, I suppose. I had no idea anything happened. I must have been asleep in the wardrobe somehow.
I wish it wasn't the case, but that's just very hard to believe.
It's very hard to believe for me too. Trust me.
I've told you everything that I know. So it's my turn to ask you a question.
Yes, alright. Oh, my head feels so heavy. It's throbbing like anything.
Why are you even aboard this ship, Naruhodo-san? You said something before about being a stowaway, didn't you?
Oh, yes. I'm afraid that's true. It's 2 weeks since we left Japan now, and I've been shut up in this cabin the entire time.
I had no idea. And how could you have occupied Kazuma-sama cabin for so long without him noticing?
No, that would have been impossible, obviously.
Yes, of course.
Kazuma invited me. He wanted us to go to England together.
He actually asked you? But why?
I'm afraid I don't really know the reason myself.
I don't understand.
Kazuma, why do you want this? What's the real reason? I go to such extreme lengths to smuggle me to England with you.
An idea that's been on my mind ever since the end of that incredible trial. I think I told you then, didn't I? You ought to become a lawyer yourself?
Well, yeah, you did say that, but I didn't think you were serious.
You have a talent for it, I can assure you that.
I've never really thought about becoming a lawyer.
Well, that's something you can decide for yourself. London is at the spearhead of cultural development, the center of the world in many ways. Can't be any harm seeing such an important place with your own eyes, can there?
Oh, no, definitely not.
But on a personal level, you were to become a lawyer then.
Then what?
Nothing. Forget it. Kazuma-sama, he was always saying the same thing. He wanted to change the Japanese legal system. Perhaps he thought he could do that with you.
Yeah, maybe. Something's still bothering me a little. Look in his eyes, then. It's darker than I've seen it before. Susato-san? Sorry that we kept it a secret from you. By stowing away on this ship, I mean.
Baido Kazuma-sama. I expect he was trying to protect me, to avoid becoming guilty by association.
That's exactly right. Yes. Word perfect, in fact.
You're not the culprit. Then tell me. What happened last night here in this cabin?
Well, the thing is, I don't really remember. Kazuma brought me something to eat, just like he always did. And then I got myself into that wardrobe over there, just like I always did. After that, I...
Fell asleep?
Well, yeah.
So deeply that you didn't even stir when Kazuma-sama was killed?
Well, yes. I know it sounds unbelievable, really I do, but it's the truth. If only I'd woken up, then perhaps I wouldn't be in this predicament. And for some reason, my head's still throbbing like anything.
Really?
Is something wrong?
Oh, no, it's... Please, forget it.
Susato-san, you have to believe me. I didn't do it!
I really don't want to doubt you. But the trouble is, there's no one else who would possibly have done this.
Kazuma, I don't understand. Why? How did this have to happen? I can't take this.
Don't try to go anywhere. You're the perpetrator in this crime. You can't leave. I can't allow that to happen.
I'm sorry. But Kazuma was killed right under my nose here, and I didn't do anything to stop it. Now I'm supposed to just sit around with my hands tied while whoever did this walks free? No! I can't allow that to happen.
Well, what do you propose to do then?
I'm gonna investigate. I'm gonna find out exactly what happened here. I'm gonna work out who took Kazuma's life and how and why they did it. So I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to excuse me. Hi-ya! What the?
That was a Susato takedown.
A Susato what? What martial art form is that?
I'm going to need you to prove it.
Sorry? Prove it?
Yes, your innocence. I need evidence.
But how am I supposed to?
Have you forgotten already? What you achieved just a few weeks ago? You successfully defended yourself in a court of law.
Ah, I see. It's expecting me to present some conclusive evidence. I have to get Susato-san to believe me. I'll show her some evidence right now that proves I'm not guilty of this awful crime.
Yes!
Tell me, now it's discovered in the wardrobe before. Was this piece of paper stuck over the doors?
Oh, yes, it was. I remember clearly.
Thought so. Kazuma always put it in a place when I went to sleep there. Just in case the cabin steward or another crew member decided to look inside. So naturally, he did the same thing last night as well.
Duh!
Yes, of course. The gentleman who discovered you peeled that sign out from the wardrobe doors before you opened it. If I were truly the culprit, I couldn't have climbed back inside the wardrobe and stuck this on the outside of the doors myself.
Yes, that's quite true.
In other words, it's impossible that I killed Kazuma.
Well, even if you are sprawled hopelessly on the floor, I can see why Kazuma-sama thought so highly of you.
Thank you, Susato-san. Do you think perhaps you could help me up?
Well, in the light of that evidence, I don't see any reason why I should stop you from investigating it here, at least.
Thank you. So you finally believe me?
I'm sorry. No.
What?
Not sure yet. Can't rule out the possibility to use some sort of conjuring trick to put the sign back in position.
What does she think I am? A magician?
For now, I suggest you investigate as thoroughly as possible in here. I'll do the same.
Alright, let's get to work, Susato-san.
Please, don't misunderstand me. I still have my doubts.
Oh,
I should be watching you to make sure you do nothing that might disturb the crime scene. I wouldn't want you using your conjuring tricks to destroy evidence, for example.
right. Well, anyway, I should make a start on investigating in here. Examine everything I can. Kazuma, I swear. I'll avenge your death.
Examine. That's Kazuma's precious sword. He never went anywhere without it.
Yeah, he was always saying, a Japanese man's katana is his soul.
I believe he had to work very hard to convince the government to allow him to bring it on the trip.
Well, that shows just how important it was to him. And now he's gone. But I'm not ready to let his spirit go just yet.
Oh dear, that won't do.
What's the matter, Susato-san?
Whenever I'm examining things, I always find myself so focused that I forget to look around properly.
Ah, yeah. That's not good.
I don't suppose you're as foolish as me in that regard, are you, Naruhodo-san? I'm sure you're careful to look around using tutorial shit. Obviously, we gotta look at this.
Did Kazuma write that before he died? Looks like it's written in ink.
He must have docked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor.
I suppose he wrote this message by dipping his finger in the spillage. Poor Kazuma-sama. No doubt he was in terrible pain. It's almost unbearable to imagine it. Suppose he was trying to leave some kind of a clue in his final moments, was he? I'm sorry, partner, but I can't read your writing.
It says... Got it. It says closet. It says garderobe. Methinks the killer is Russian. Or at least wants somebody to come. I don't think that's Japanese, Naruhodo-san. It's not, it's Russian.
What? Then what language is it?
Pains me to admit it, but I don't know.
Not a foreign script I'm familiar with. What does it mean, I wonder?
It means closet.
It means closet!
Oh, he hops too much. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, no. Down, boy. Down, boy. Down. There we go. Okay, cool. That's a very large traveling case, isn't it?
Yeah, it carries a lot of memories for me.
Memories? What do you mean?
Well, that's actually how I stowed away on this vessel. I was brought on board inside that case.
Ah, yes, I see. It says this way up in Japanese.
Which in hindsight, I should have realized the foreign crewmen wouldn't be able to read. I was turned over and over, and then I was tossed on the floor here.
Oh dear, being a stowaway isn't as romantic as it sounds.
Well, it was less painful than Susato's takedown.
Fuck is this?
What do you think this is? It looks like a broken piece of glassware. Whatever the thing was, it appears to have broken clean in two.
The glass is such a beautiful color. Looks like a cute little Netsuke fastener from a Komodo outfit.
Not sure that sounds like Kazuma. He wouldn't have secretly carried a cute little trinket like this around with him, would he?
And the mark beside it, what is it, I wonder? It has a sort of like brick-like hue.
Yeah, you're right. It's the color of brick, isn't it? Even though I don't see anything of the same color anywhere else in this cabin.
Very curious. I think that's some kind of opening for a ventilator. Hole through which the fresh air can circulate in the cabin.
Isn't that a little odd?
What do you mean?
Well, this ventilator, if that's what it is. Looks like it must connect to the next door cabin.
Yes, it would appear to. You're right.
But if its purpose is to allow fresh air into the room, surely it would be connected to the outside.
That's true. Perhaps it's so that the rain and spray don't find their way in when the seas are rough. Or something like that?
I suppose. Maybe that's it.
This is where dear Kazuma-sama would have sat when he was writing.
London Diary. Poor Kazuma. He didn't even make it to his destination.
It looks as though the last entry is incomplete.
Which means... What? He was in the middle of writing it when the incident happened? Let's see what it says. Could be a valuable clue.
Hiya! That's out of the cat question.
What?
Kazuma-sama may have departed this world, but you should not read his private thoughts.
But what if it's something important? Something relevant to the case? Alright, I won't read it.
Poor Kazuma-sama.
I don't like prying into people's personal matters either. But in this case, isn't the need for clues more important?
Seems like Herlock Sholmes does not have this issue.
Who's that? He wasn't here a minute ago. As far as I can tell, looks like he might be a European.
Gross. Though, how did he...
You've noticed the man too, haven't you?
Yeah, fucking duh, there's a man sitting on the desk.
No idea who he is or how he got in here, but he looks suspicious and tall. Suspiciously tall.
Speaking of suspiciously tall, by the way, I went to meet with a personal trainer today to set up some sessions. That man was huge. I'm 6'2", right? This man was a head or two taller than me. And he was like super fit. Man was massive. Jesus. Huge dude. Huge. Super nice guy though. Just huge. Big man. Big man.
No idea who he is or how he got in here, but...
Oh, I already said this. Daruhodo-san, don't tell me. Do you really not know who that is?
Well, no. I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. He doesn't look like a member of the crew. There's something very unusual about him.
Could it be the fact that he's sitting on a desk?
And he's investigating Kazuma's desk, or is he just playing with it? I can't tell.
Well, in that case, we simply must talk with him.
Am I just imagining it? Or does Susato-san almost look uncontrollably excited?
Yeah, she looks pumped, man. She looks... Wow, she can barely contain that excitement. By the way, I expect that you've noticed already, but just in case. You press space on people with the crosshairs, you can go buzz with them. I'm gonna talk to this man's.
Excuse me. Excuse me, do you have a moment? Shh.
This is a critical point in my investigation.
Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly.
Yes, perhaps that would be for the best. Greetings! I hope I haven't kept you too long.
Ah! What exactly were you doing at Kazuma's desk just now?
Ah, I see. Fascinating.
Sorry? What do you see? It feels like he's looking right through me.
Ah, yes. Everything's clear now. The train of reasoning has run its course. My deductions have crystallized. You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Just recently returned, if I'm not mistaken.
Sorry? What?
And now, whilst venturing toward foreign climes, you find yourself in a most troubling predicament.
Oh, that's true at least.
But how? How the deuce did I know that, perhaps? It was really the most elementary deduction, hardly worth explaining.
Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else?
But of course, a great many things. There's no mystery, my dear madam. For example, you have fled your native land of Russia, being as you are a merciless revolutionary. You leave 16 victims of assassination in your wake, and now you travel to England to blow up the Crystal Tower. And when the beribboned occupant of this very cabin discovered your identity, you ended his life too. Yes, I believe that summarizes the facts beautifully. No need to hide the truth now. Nothing deceives these eyes. Recently beribboned, dude.
Just to be clear, you're talking about me, are you?
Certainly I am. Do you see another in this cabin who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name?
I don't even see one person who fits the bill.
So it's true. It was you who did this to Kazuma-sama.
What? Head, you're plotting a revolution too.
It's shameful behavior, Naruhodo-san. Absolutely wicked.
Oh, listen, there's no way I... Hi-ya! Now explain yourself. Tell me everything. This is ridiculous.
How could you do it?
For pity's sake, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary. Obviously.
Oh, forgive me.
And as for you, what kind of deduction was that? You were just saying the first thing that came into your head.
Ah, but was I not right? Whilst venturing toward foreign climes, you do find yourself in a most troubling predicament, do you not?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Ha! There you have it, see? What do you make of that?
Well, to be honest, ship is en route to England and I'm in handcuffs at the scene of a murder. So, not really sure you could call it a deduction. It's more like plain observation.
Indeed. An observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My method is founded upon observation of trifles. You see, I announce my findings with a brassy certitude. And more often than not, I'm right.
I don't think you introduced yourself.
Ah, my apologies. How remiss of me. I am none other than the greatest detective of the century, known to men and women world over. The inimitable Sherlock Holmes.
So, it's really you? The actual Sherlock Holmes?
The very same. The inimitable actual Sherlock Holmes.
Do you know this man, Susato-san? The most famous detective in the world? Daruhodo-san, of course I do. There's nobody who has heard of him. What planet have I been living on then? You must ask him what he's deduced. He'll have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure. Really? Why do I feel uneasy about this? Have you managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet?
Have I managed to deduce anything? My dear fellow! Who do you suppose discovered the culprit in his most cunning hiding place? That's right. It was none other than the great detective before you now, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes, my bad. No trademark. Don't sue me.
Ah, I see. In other words, I'm in these now because of him. But I became anxious about Kazuma-sama this morning. I summoned all of the crew members to force the cabin open.
And I concealed myself among their number, gaining entry to the scene of the crime. Yes, luckily for everyone, the great detective, Sherlock Holmes, was on board. And the handcuffs seem to be an excellent fit, Mr. Naruhodo. The very moment I laid eyes on the scene, two facts were immediately apparent to me.
Oh, really? Two facts, you say?
I love this guy. This guy's fun.
Mr. Holmes, tell us, please. What two facts were apparent to you when you came into this cabin this morning?
Ah, yes. But first, let us be precise. The two facts in question were immediately apparent to me.
Yeah, I understand. But what were they?
Allow me to elucidate. The two facts that I deduced from a mere momentary glance at the scene of the crime were as follows. Number one, the cabin was locked from within, rendering escape of the culprit out of the question. Number two, the victim was Russian and killed the following dispute with an acquaintance.
Hold on, Mr. Holmes. What made you think the victim was Russian?
Observe the dying message left by the victim on the floor. Garderobe. That is the Russian word for wardrobe.
Do you really think Kazuma-sama would have left a dying message in Russian?
In their final moments, many find their native tongue filling their head. For this young man, Russian.
Kazuma was Russian? Was he?
Initially, I considered Garderobe. I don't know what the fuck that was. Maybe the name of the killer. A certain Robert Guard, perhaps. But in interest of thoroughness, I decided it was wrong not to look inside the wardrobe there at least.
Where you found Mr. Naruhodo sleeping soundly.
Quite so. I found you, the renowned Russian revolutionary killer.
Is it that I'm Russian too?
I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In other words, you were acquainted. And if my memory serves, that outfit is the traditional dress of the Russian people.
Our school uniforms are the traditional dress of the Russian people? I had no idea. And I had no idea a detective could get something so wrong.
I took a photograph of the victim and the message, that I might analyze it for possible hidden details.
This
was taken immediately after the young man was discovered, before the body was removed.
Yes. Kazuma had already been taken away when I woke up. This is the first time I've actually seen him like this.
He looks slightly uncomfortable.
Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yeah, thank you. Can I ask you something, Mr. Sholmes?
What, pray?
You mentioned Russia before as well, didn't you? You know, when you said I was a fearsome revolutionary fleeing from Russia and all that?
Ah, yes, the train of reasoning that led me to the truth.
Would you mind explaining that train of reasoning for me, do you think?
Koniečno. Certainly, if it interests you.
How many times? I'm not Russian, and I don't speak Russian. We talk about your deduction before? The things you concluded about me, I mean.
Ah, now the famously accurate, troubling predicament you find yourself in.
Actually, it was the other details that I was more hoping to discuss. You know, the merciless Russian revolutionary assassin of 16 part?
Ah, yes, the most sordid details. It was a fairly commonplace deduction. Here we have this morning's paper. The main headline reads: Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. This vessel made a port call at Shanghai yesterday, and late last night the young Russian was murdered.
Since when was Kazuma Russian? It sounds like Mr. Scholl concluded he was Russian because of what Kazuma-sama wrote on the floor.
It's a simple act of reasoning to realize that the culprit of this crime was the same merciless revolutionary. One who would kill the very man who helped them escape after his true identity was discovered. Yes, you, villain Bolshevik.
No, no, no! How could that be me? I don't look anything like this man. Just look at his face.
Well, you are a fearsome revolutionary after all. Therefore, you have no doubt learned to revolutionize your appearance as well.
Ah, please.
And I might add, your name does not appear on the ship's passenger list. Need I say more?
Oh, that's because I'm a stowaway.
What about the other details? The 16 victims of assassination and blowing up the Crystal Tower? Ah, yes. The journalist clearly interviewed the man and printed those particulars in the article. The deeds the man has perpetrated thus far, and those he is plotting. Yes, everything about this revolutionary Bolshevik was included. There can be no mistake.
Do revolutionaries usually agree to interviews with newspaper reporters? I wonder. It's frustrating how often Rio thinks what he should say out loud. Yeah. I agree. That's just who he is, dude. He's a little shy boy. He's not good at talking. What do you mean? He's the only one we get to see the thoughts of. It's a normal thing for Japanese people because anime taught you this. I can tell you that Phoenix Wright definitely says most of the things that he's thinking out loud. Often by accident. And what about the part where you said I was just returning from Afghanistan?
Also quite clearly stated here in the article. Bolshevik has recently returned after a period of subversive activities in a war-torn region of Afghanistan.
Where even is it anyway? This Afghanistan place.
Ah, yes, Phoenix Wright. Here, take the paper for yourself. As a little memento of this great deduction.
Oh, thank you.
I've absorbed all that is of interest to me within the pages. But I see no rubbish bin nearby. And you may find the article on the back of the page of interest as well.
On the back?
Cast your eye over it sometime if it interests you. Though you may need someone to interpret.
It's all written in Russian. I couldn't hope to read it. I suppose it wouldn't hurt just to glance at the article. Maybe there's a picture or two. Hey, girl. This is interesting. Have you found something relevant, Naruhodo-san? Oh, no, I mean, it looks like it might be interesting. I can't read a single word, I'm afraid. No, nor can I, but look at this picture. Perhaps it's about a beautiful young Russian princess. Do you think? She is very pretty, isn't she? I suppose you enjoy articles like this, do you? I don't know. I can't make any sense of it.
Ah, I'm glad you've noticed this article.
Duh.
Allow me to give you a short summary of its contents.
Oh, thank you. Pops up everywhere, this Mr. Sholmes.
It's about the disappearance of a young lady last night. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. During a performance in Shanghai, the famous dancer was reported missing. She is, of course, the talented young Nikolina Pavlova.
Why are Russian names so hard to remember?
It would appear the woman was in costume when she was found to be missing from her dressing room, wearing the diamond tiara that you see pictured, which is worth some 20,000 rubles.
That's not a lot. Oh, how much is 20,000 rubles? I have no idea, but I'm quite sure. Must be a unbelievable sum of money. Saro-san's eyes are shining like diamonds themselves.
Tiara is the property of the Novovich Ballet. It would seem the director is beside herself with worry.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
The company is most anxious to recover both Miss Pavlova and the valuable tiara. They've requested an international assistance at all ports with sailings to Great Britain.
Could this be another case of a Russian fleeing his or her country?
Does seem to be the Russian thing to do.
I'm not even gonna dignify that with a response, Mr. Naruhodo. I don't know if it was a lot when the story was set. No idea. I know that currently it's like $200? Something like that? Time for my hourly break. Gonna do my stretches and drink and... Oh, damn. Ruble's really gone down, huh? Damn. Are you sure it's not opposite? Anyways, I'll be right back. Okay, we back. Oh.
Crazy that the ruble would fall that much in value.
I back.
Hi, listen to the map. What do you think?
So you're a great detective, are you? Sorry, what was your name again?
Rio suffers in defense. Your bucket and mop reference drenched me in reverence. Fair enough.
Indeed, I am no other than the one and only Herlock Sholmes. Oh, I see. You're German? Herlock, was it?
No, I have no hair. I mean, I have hair, but please call me Sholmes. You can read all about my exploits in this exciting London publication.
Oh, yes, Rand's magazine. Full of wonderful short stories and interest articles from Great Britain. I never miss an issue. I have it sent from England especially.
Ah,
Yes, here it is. The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes. So, you're the protagonist in a series of short stories then?
indeed I am.
And you've read so many of your own stories that you started to think you really are a detective.
Make no mistake, I'm not the poor deluded fellow you take me for. Your inference is backwards.
Backward?
My trusty biographer records my greatest detecting achievements and chronicles them in a magazine.
Have a biographer, do you?
Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name of Dr. Wilson, presently keeping shop in London.
Dr. Wilson?
Must say, thanks to that publication, I've been fantastically busy of late. Why, this very moment I'm returning from Asia, having solved the mystery of the cursed royal crown.
Really? Can't work out whether I should take this man seriously or not.
Deduction, you see, is to me a science. Logical reasoning in its purest form.
The science? Really?
The astute observer notices even the most subtle of reactions in his subject. A furtive glance, a twitch of a muscle, slight inclination of the posture. Fingernails, arm sleeves, furrows in the skin. All of these are data.
Right.
And the trained logician makes deductions from this data in the blink of an eye. The ultimate conclusion is, without fail, the truth. As I demonstrated only a few short moments ago.
How can he look me in the eye and claim that?
So you see, I have turned both for observation and deduction, and fame. That is what makes me the only... no! Herlock Sholmes!
Before we started talking, you were examining Kazuma's desk, weren't you?
Kazuma. Ah, yes, the victim.
Did you notice anything useful? Anything at all?
Observe for a moment the desktop of the victim. We see that the victim was engaged in penning some texts. London Diary.
London Diary. Kazuma was keeping notes of the trip. Ah, but... I don't think you should read his private writings. It could upset people.
Tragic. And something you ought to perhaps elucidate before the act of reading.
You mean, you've read it already?
'Tis my business to know what other people do not. Yes, believe it or not, I know a smattering of Japanese.
Yeah, obviously you're speaking it. Oh, I see. Well, you're about to know what Susato Takedown really is. Susato-san? Aren't you gonna, throw the detective with like one of your trademark takedowns? You know, like you did to me earlier when I did the thing that he just did. And then you like threw me on the ground, and maybe you like throw him on the ground. Maybe like it will be like fair if you like threw him on the ground like you threw me on the ground. I'm just saying. I'm sorry, Naruhodo-san, but what on earth do you mean? Life's so unfair.
Anyway, to return to the matter at hand. Namely, this diary belonging to the victim. Would appear that the final sentence is incomplete, as if the author were cut short. Tell me, what is the nature of the writing? Pray be precise as to details.
Oh, but I thought you knew Japanese.
A smattering, dear boy, a smattering. Sayonara, bonsai, mikado, nado nado. I trust you're suitably impressed. This diary is littered with complicated-looking characters, for which I cannot read precisely none.
What was that showing off before then? You'd be so kind as to show me. I would happily read it for you, Mr. Shobes.
I'm much obliged, my dear madam.
The final entry here in Kazuma-sama's diary consists of two short sentences. The first reads, 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. Whistling sound?
These are very deep waters. Pray, go on.
The second sentence reads, 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Speckled band? What on earth does that mean? I have no idea. I've never heard that expression before.
The ventilator grill, you said. Man was presumably referring to the lattice on the wall, which connects to the adjoining cabin.
Yeah, the adjoining cabin.
So, I believe I've given you enough to consider for the time of being, at least.
Do you have somewhere to go?
As it happens, the victim's writings in his diary has piqued my interest. The matters warrant further investigation, I believe. And if I am still too long, the seasickness takes hold.
Oh, I suppose you're thinking of investigating the cabin next door, which the ventilator connects to?
Great detectives are a curious breed. Our minds rebel at stagnation. We crave mental exhaustion. So yes, indeed, I intend to investigate. Hence, the truth will become clear soon enough.
You think perhaps we could go with you?
No, that would be somewhat complicated.
What? But why?
A simple glance at your wrists should reveal the answer.
Oh, these old things. It's just a fashion choice, you know? Don't even worry about it.
After all, you're the prime suspect in this matter. No?
There's no point in trying to turn it into a question. You're the one who decided I was the culprit in the first place.
Whatever do you mean? I have no recollection of naming you as the culprit at any point.
You must be joking. You just said it only a moment ago.
Dear me, you're clearly misguided. I would have no cause to say such a thing.
Well, actually, Mr. Shobes, I did hear you say that too.
You're quite sure? Well, that's very strange. I wouldn't have said you had the face of a criminal, you know. Not really.
So what? Were you looking at my knees before? Some great detective you are.
Well, anyway. That was then, and this is now.
What do you mean?
What I mean, sir, is this. If you're the culprit, then you must play the part more convincingly. Roll over and accept your fate.
Now he's just being plain rude. And off he goes, having just laughed in my face. Sense of humor is as twisted as his name. Daruhado-san, what are you just standing there for? We must go and investigate the cabin next door as well. Aren't you forgetting something? What about these? There's no way I can... Hee-yah! Kazuma-sama spent his dying moments struggling to leave us a clue. You're willing to give up? You're just gonna roll over and accept your fate? As if you gave me any choice in the rolling over part. I think we still have some investigation to finish off in here first, don't we? Let's carry on examining what we can in this cabin while we wait for a chance to slip next door. Good idea. The situation doesn't look good for me, but there's still things I can do to help myself. I owe it to Kazuma to do everything I can to find a way out of this and bring the real culprit to justice. These are the rules of passage for travel upon the SS Booyah. It's essentially a list of requests from the captain, no passengers aboard. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. What? Why are you staring at me? Oh, sorry, I was just thinking. Are you more of a dangerous object or a pet? Can't decide. One thing's for sure. Either way, I wasn't supposed to be in here. Books have fallen over on the shelf. Look, they've all toppled the same way. But what's this? A statue of some god of the sea? Although he's fallen over as well. Yeah, it's almost as if the whole shelf has been ransacked. And everything mown down at once. I wonder if... perhaps it was Kazuma-sama doing his morning sword training. Do you think? I seriously doubt it. Then perhaps... it was you, Naruharu-san? In a fit of rage? I wouldn't have bothered leaving the wardrobe just to mess up a few books and a statue. Could the way these things have been thrown about have anything to do with the case? I wonder. Well, I'll just set everything straight again. I don't like to see a mess. Objection indeed. Tampering with evidence. Those books fell due to ocean currents, Your Honor. Anyways, oh, my dad's calling me. I'll be right back. I gotta go sign a contract for like some work stuff. I'll be back in like, I don't know, 10-20 minutes.
I'm back. How long was that? So my thought is it's not a snake this time. 10 minutes. Okay, cool. I'll just go till like 9:30 then. Fine. Anyways, my thoughts are that the speckled band being a snake was a thing in the first story, but here it's a red herring. It's not a snake. And they're probably going to bring up that it was a snake because they're going to mention like, oh, here are his memoirs. It's totally a snake. I think it's the tiara. I think the speckled band is literally just a speckled band. Thank you, sir. Let's talk to this Russian man. Excuse me. What? Just wondering if I could ask you a favor. Would you mind if I investigated a little outside? Grandmother told me Japanese people do not make jokes. But this is not true, I see. Sorry? The criminal asking the prison guard for help for him to escape? Very funny. In the middle of the sea. There's no chance of me escaping. Yet. You stay in this cabin until next port. Then it is up for Hong Kong police to decide what to do with you. You stay. Alright. There's no point trying to appeal to this man's better nature, that's for sure. Seiki. Japanese word for justice. The brushstrokes are straight and true. Just like Kazuma. Seiki desu. Yes, his calligraphy was always a reflection of his heart. Yet, you could really look into those characters without feeling shame, knowing who drew them so thoughtfully. Of course I can. I mean, I'm innocent, so why shouldn't I be able to? Even though you stowed away on this ship? Now you're gonna bring that up, are you? Can't win. The fuck is this? No. I wanna know what the fuck this is. The fuck is this? It's my dinner from last night. Roast chicken. Really tasty. Yes, it was very delicious, wasn't it? But, did you eat it on the floor here? I'm not a dog, Susato-san. I ate at the table, of course. Which begs the question of when and how the plate ended up on the floor. But Kazuma-sama didn't like chicken at all, did he? No, that's right. So, he didn't touch it. Which meant all the more for me. Oh, doh. Does that mean poor Kazuma-sama spent his last night on Earth with an empty belly? It's just too horrible. Suddenly I have a guilty conscience that I have an achy stomach. I guess investigate the wardrobe, maybe? It's sub 2 weeks as we set sail from Japan. Have you really been living in that wardrobe the entire time, Naruhodo-san?
I think living isn't quite the right description.
Don't touch my belly, my achy braggy belly.
Oh, no, I suppose not.
Although it might have been rather exciting, making this voyage in your own secret hideout.
Trouble was, I never knew when a member of the crew might come in. So yeah, I did basically have to live in the wardrobe. And last night was no exception.
But because of that, you had no idea what was happening out here in the cabin.
No, sadly not.
This is... Yes, it's a bell cord contraption, I think.
What do you mean, contraption?
I read about it in a book I was studying that talked about life in Great Britain. Large households often have bell cords like this, which you can pull to ring a bell to summon servants.
Really? That sounds almost magical. Should we give it a little try?
Yes! In the interest of cultural research, obviously. I suppose nobody comes for lowly Japanese people.
Oh, no, I'm sure it's just everyone's busy, that's all.
Shit. But I went for help, and the crewman forced the door open. This bolt had been firmly closed.
Huh. It's quite a small bolt and not particularly sturdy, and just slides across to secure the door shut. Still, the door bolted. There will be no way to get in or out of the cabin, that's for sure. It's no wonder everyone suspects me. She glares at me like that, I feel all tense all up and down my spine. I remember reading once in a detective novel. Culprit used a needle and a thread, draw a bolt across from outside the room in a situation like this.
Yes, that's a clever trick, isn't it? I'm an avid reader of detective stories myself. The door to this cabin and its frame are made of metal, and they sealed together perfectly. There would be no possible way of using that needle and thread trick here, I'm afraid.
She glares at me like that. I feel pins and needles all up and down my spine. Oh, look over there.
The crewman, do you mean? He wasn't there before, was he?
That's what I thought.
Why don't we try talking to him?
Probably because I'm likely to get yelled at again. But I suppose I could try. Is that?
Something wrong, Naruhodo-san?
Oh no, it's just that Crewman standing by the door. Can't help but feeling I've seen him somewhere before.
Ah, yes, you're right. He does look familiar. Excuse me, sir. Yes? What can I do for you?
Recognize that face, but it can't be. It is!
I didn't know you were here, Inspector Hosonaga. Hello again.
What are you doing here?
I think that should be my line. I was so stunned when I saw you, my heart stopped. Nearly stopped, I hope. I received some special orders to go undercover as a member of the crew and board this ship.
Again?
You certainly seem to enjoy undercover work, Inspector. If there's anything I can do to help you, please ask.
Never expected to see this man on board. Perhaps his presence can help me out of this hopeless situation. So what are your special orders this time, Inspector?
Yes, and why are you dressed as a member of the crew? I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. I take full responsibility.
For what?
My orders were to act as Asogi-san's bodyguard. It was Minister of Justice Jigoku who pushed for this overseas study tour to go ahead. He entrusted me with ensuring that Asogi-san reached Great Britain without being assassinated.
Assassinated? How could that even be a possibility?
Not sure. These are complicated times. There are tensions between the great world powers. Minister Jigoku said we should be prepared for all eventualities.
This is incredible. I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama was assassinated?
Obviously, we couldn't give Asogi-san a visible security escort. Which is why I'm undercover now, posing as one of the crew.
I see.
And I didn't take my eyes off him the entire time we've been on board, from morning to night, every day. But I never imagined it would happen here, inside his own cabin, not here on the first-class deck. I failed miserably at my assignment, and Asogi-san is dead as a result. By the way, did you hear him in the cutscene?
He was talking like this.
Which is so different from how I've been doing him. Like, my assumption, right, is that because he's coughing up blood, his voice is all fucked up. I just wanted to do, like, this very low, like, very careful voice so that he doesn't fuck up his voice more.
But apparently he sounds like this.
I've failed miserably at my assignment, and Asogi-san is dead as a result. No, Ouchie also sounds like that. Because he's like a recurring character, sort of. Like somebody of that family is in every game as the first prosecutor.
And they do sound like this.
I'm a disgrace. All I can do is humbly apologize.
Inspector.
If there's anything at all that I can do to help now, just say the word. Maybe he was doing a voice though, because he's undercover. It's possible.
We're doing what we can to investigate Kazuma's death ourselves.
Thought you might be. You didn't do it, did you? You're not the killer?
Of course not.
We'd really like to investigate the cabin next door.
Yes, we need to be able to be allowed out of this cabin.
I'm sorry.
What?
You've been deemed a risk to the ship's safety. You moved, even touched the handle of the cabin door. That stormy-looking seaman over there would surely snap your neck in two.
Suppose I'm not just a stowaway now. I think I'm a murderer as well.
Would it be possible to give me something to work with, do you think? I'm going to need something persuasive.
What do you mean?
I had a solid reason why the next door cabin should be investigated, for example. I'd do everything I could to persuade the captain to allow it. Really, I'd lay my life on the line if I had to.
But I don't see how.
There may be a way.
What? Really?
Think of how you tried to persuade me of your own innocence, Naruhodo-san. By presenting me with a piece of evidence that you already had in your possession.
Evidence? What's that?
It's just the same as when you were in court. You must have done it many times during your trial.
Oh my God.
Tutorial bullshit. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. Not as unpleasant as fucking tutorials are to me. What's that?
It's Kazuma's diary.
Just before he died, Kazuma-sama wrote something rather strange in his diary. Strange? In what way? He wrote, "What looks like some kind of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill." A speckled band? That's strange.
Yeah, we're still trying to work out what he meant by that, but what I'd like to know is...
Don't tell me. The ventilator, is it? You're very astute, Inspector. Inspector Chalmers. That ventilator clearly joins to the next door cabin.
That's right. So, if we could investigate in there, we might be able to work out what the speckled band was.
Alright then. Can't leave this cabin at the moment. I'm stuck here until we arrive at the next port. Captain has given me strict orders to guard the scene of the crime, you see. I'll have to entrust the investigation to you.
Really? You're willing to do that?
Yes, as long as you don't leave the first-class cabin area. I'm afraid I can't remove those handcuffs, though.
But what about the captain? Aren't you going against his direct orders?
I'm a man of my word. And I promise you that I'll lay my life on the line if that's what it takes to convince the captain. After all, I failed to keep Asogi-san safe. This is the least I can do.
Thank you. Let's seize the moment then, Naruhodo-san. Just fucking do tutorial shit and we can fucking... Ah!
9th of January, 7:48 a.m. SS Booyah, first class cabin passageway.
I'm finally out of that cabin. I have to admit, this isn't quite what I was expecting. Less spacious out here than I thought it would be. This is the most luxurious accommodation.
Yes, indeed. Kazuma-sama was being sent on a study tour by the government. That's why he was being put in a first-class cabin. Even still, this is about twice as large as my accommodation in steerage.
Really? That must be awful. Oh, look over there. It's another crewman keeping watch, and he looks enormous, even when he's sitting down.
The door next to him leads to the second-class accommodation. Well, he's making sure that nobody comes in there who shouldn't.
I suppose, like, people in handcuffs.
Naruhodo-san, you look like a little boy visiting a toy shop for the first time. I would have thought you'd be used to the ship by now. You've been at sea for 2 weeks already.
Well, yeah, I know, but the thing is, I was inside Kazuma's trunk when I first came aboard. Ever since then, I've been shut up inside that little wardrobe.
It must have been a very trying time for you.
Ace, don't give me that pitying look.
Da, a trap for catching mice.
Yeah, we have plenty of those back home in Japan. Oh, they seem to be using a lump of chalk or something for bait.
Let me see. Yes, I think that's what's called cheese. It's made from the milk of cows.
Jeez. I wonder what it tastes like.
Can't eat it, Naruhodo-san. Trap will shut on your fingers.
Really? But... I suppose you're right.
You weren't actually going to try it, were you?
All I've had to eat for the past couple of weeks is Kazuma's leftovers. You don't know how hungry I've been in that wardrobe.
Poor you. I'll find a little snack for you later.
What do you think this is? It's a very pleasing shape, isn't it?
That's the emergency alarm. It's best not to touch it.
Oh, an alarm.
It says, press only in times of emergency. It looks as though it sets alarm bells ringing all over the ship and brings the vessel to a complete stop.
What are you doing, Naruhodo-san? You mustn't touch it. This is an emergency situation. Just look at these handcuffs. I want to touch the button. So bad.
You know full well that's not what the alarm is for. You were to bring this vessel to a standstill for no good reason, you'd be in an even worse situation.
Wish everything would just stop. Ship included.
You have to do something foolish. At least make it something that doesn't affect anyone else.
This is it. This is the cabin next to ours. The one the ventilator connects to.
Yes, the ventilator from which Kazuma-sama wrote that he saw a speckled band emerging.
Maybe whoever's in this cabin can help solve that particular mystery. Let's ask. Oh, excuse me, we, need to get inside this cabin here.
This sailor's eyes speak volumes. They're clearly saying, keep out.
That's what I wrote on the sign we put over the wardrobe doors. Although this man's version's definitely more effective.
It doesn't look like he's gonna let us pass.
That's a problem.
What if we tickle his belly button?
It's a huge book on top of the table there. And there's a pen next to it.
Yes, that looks like the ship's log.
Should we have a little look through it?
The writing's so neat and precise. Every detail about the voyage has been meticulously recorded.
You wouldn't expect a rough and ready sailor to have such beautiful handwriting. And nothing. No reaction at all. Thought he might appreciate the compliment.
I'm not sure the rough and ready is much of a compliment, Naruhodo-san, even to a sailor. Anyway, last night's log is mostly blank.
Presumably, that means there was nothing to report.
Doesn't really make a lot of sense, does it?
Excuse me, but could I ask you something?
You little stowaway murderer.
That wasn't a good start, was it? Alright.
Let me try instead. Good day, Mr. Sailor. I'm so sorry to trouble you, but could I perhaps ask something of you? You little third-class ladies' maid.
Oh. You seem to have caught the sailor on a bad day, Susato-san.
I am not a sailor. My mother gave me name. I am senior crewman, Beef Stroganoff.
Ugh. Best thing is just to avoid eye contact, I think. Mr. Stroganoff? About this first-class cabin area.
Here we are in finest part of Buria steamship. We're very important persons.
What sort of very important persons?
Government officials, kings, queens, traveling in secret, many important persons. That is why I am always guarding this place.
Gosh, that's amazing.
But somehow I let stupid stowaway inside. I like his fish tie. I want to pick you up and throw you in the ocean, but Stroganoff is not animal.
Thank you. 5B, I was wondering. Is the cabin next to Mr. Asogi currently occupied? Duh! Susato-san? Did you understand that? It sounded like, duh. I think it's probably Russian for yes. Or no. Genius.
It is not permitted to visit other cabins without invitation.
Well, it sounds like there's somebody next door cabin at least. Yes, it's tantalizing. Could you tell us who's traveling in the cabin next to Mr. Asogi's?
His name is Mr. Grimsby Royalot. He's very important Western gentleman.
Western gentleman.
Do not think about it. He has nothing to do with murder of student boy.
How can you be so sure about that?
Mr. Royalot is authentic Western gentleman. Such a man would have no interest in lowly student from insignificant Far East Islands.
That's harsh. Could you tell us when Mr. Royalot came aboard?
That is none of your business.
Come to think of it, even though we've been at sea for 2 weeks now, and I've been in Kazuma's cabin the entire time, I've never once heard anything from the next door cabin, or even felt like there's anyone there. Well, presumably, since the gentleman is occupying one of the first-class cabins, he must be rather important. Is that right?
It is not your business.
Are you here on watch all the time, Seaman Stroganov?
Ew, that sounds like a disgusting meal. Seaman Stroganoff. Duh, all the time, so criminals like you cannot come in or get out.
I wonder, did you tell us anything about last night at all?
It is sad about student boy.
You on watch last night as well?
Of course.
And did you notice anything at the time? Anything unusual?
Yet.
Susato-san? Did you understand that? It was clearly a no.
I saw nothing unusual. Nothing at all.
You didn't hear any strange noises or sense anything was wrong in some way?
They said no.
Sorry. I'm not so sure. Could have sworn that he wouldn't catch my eye for a moment there.
This is enough. I cannot say more now.
Oh,
It's time for me to report to Captain. You must return to cabin.
yes, alright.
Bulkhead to second S area is steering locked at all time. You escape with the lobster whistles on top of the mountain, or as English say, when the pigs fly.
Yes, I understand. Good. Now we can investigate this area properly. Shall we? Definitely.
Let's go! No answer. We're out of luck, it seems. There's no one in there to help us with our inquiries.
How annoying.
Ah!
What was that? It came from inside the cabin.
Such a high-pitched scream. It must have been a woman. Stand aside. I'm about to break the door down. Mr. Sholmes! I shan't be stopped. When the fit is on me, I revel in kicking doors off their hinges. Please, wait, Mr. Sholmes. The door doesn't appear to be bolted. It doesn't. And how the deuce can I dispatch this muscular urge? What, pray, can I kick?
I think we should go in. There's no time to think about stress relief.
"9th of January, SS Booyah, first class cabin, number 2. Who are you?
A Western gentleman? This man looks Russian to me. We heard a woman scream.
A woman? Don't be absurd. As you can see, there is nobody here but me in this cabin.
True. This old man does appear to be the only person here. But in that case, who just screamed?
Get out, all of you! Now! Please excuse the intrusion, but you're Mr. Grimsby Roylott, I believe. Yes, that is me. And you are? I am the one and only, the actual Sherlock Sholmes. You've heard of me, no doubt? No. I'm a great detective among great detectives. One who adorns the covers of popular magazines, no less. So I assure you, you may trust me completely.
Man uses a magazine like a business card.
A detective? I do not trust detectives. We distinctly heard a scream emanating from within these walls. There wouldn't appear to be a lady concealing herself within the wardrobe this time. So, might I be so bold as to ask you to open that small traveling case? What? Don't be stupid! How could anyone fit in such a small trunk like that? But it's quite fashionable these days, is it not? Traveling inside one's trunk.
Don't look at me.
Oh, bye. Did you see that, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes. The case just shook.
Leave now. Otherwise, I'll call the steward.
This is Cosmo's neighbor, Mr. Grimsby Roylott.
No doubt about it. This strange Russian man is hiding something. That couldn't agree more. Let's see if we can find some clues before that burly sailor returns. What do you think you are doing? Ah! This is my cabin. Get out! Could we have a quick look inside of your traveling case, perhaps? Oh! What a pity. Think we're out of luck. I think you're right. It doesn't appear to be anything else we can do. I agree. But maybe someone else who can help. Perhaps that great detective could get somewhere with Mr. Roylott. Have a moment, please, Mr. Sholmes? You need only address me as Sholmes. That's what I just did, isn't it? Mr. Sholmes, what were you doing in there? Why, I was resting, of course. Resting? Indeed, I was contemplating our sea voyage from the confines of a wardrobe whilst waiting. Waiting for the inevitable time that you would need to call for my great powers of detection into service. Go! And it would seem that hour is upon us now. The time has come. Am I mistaken? Well, no, actually, you're spot on. For once. Observe closely. Our Russian host in this cabin, Mr. Roylott, is clearly trying to hide something. Do you know what is the most effective weapon to use against a Russian hiding a secret? Why, the truth, of course. Though it could be pointed out that such methods are not exclusively for the Russians. Right. Can you imagine how the Russian will react when the secret he guards so closely is exposed? Would you like to witness it? Oh, yes, please. Well then, what you are about to see may well astound you. For I am about to apply my great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case. Could this man be a more hackneyed portrayal of a dubious Russian, I ask you? What? From time to time it occurs to me. Is the fellow dubious on account of his Russianness, or Russian on account of his dubiousness? I really don't think either of those things should be occurring to you. Or anyone. That's right. And Mr. Sholmes? I know this man's beard and dark glasses are hard to ignore, especially on first meeting, but once I read, it is a capital mistake to theorize before you have all the evidence. It biases the judgment. Hey, Jojoing, thanks for the follow. Are you the same one from Overwatch? Or are you a different one? I have a friend. Hey, what's up, Jojo? How you doing, man? Shh, I must have complete silence. What are you doing? Why are you peering at my face like that? I'm doing pretty good. Ah, as I thought. I have quite made up my mind now. There can be no other explanation that accommodates all the facts. Mr. Roylott, I have reached two incontrovertible conclusions. What do you mean? Number one, your true identity is that of a villain. Using those shares, you're about to end the existence of something most dear. Are you not?
More accents? I'm just doing the accents that they have. Sherlock Holmes is Sherlock Holmes, so he's a British man. He sounds pretty much exactly as I'm voicing him, because we heard him in a cutscene before. And this is a presumably Russian man. So I'm just doing a silly Russian accent, because I'm not entirely sure that he is Russian. Huh.
And number two, the other conclusions I have drawn. You are, this very moment no less, in the midst of committing a grievous crime. Beneath that beard, your mouth quivers with nervous tension as you realize you have been discovered. Does it not?
Oh, Naruhodo-san, I never imagined I would witness one of Mr. Sholmes' great deductions before my very eyes.
That was great deduction?
Nothing can deceive Mr. Sholmes. In a single glance, he deduced all there is to know about a person.
What? What an ineffable twaddle.
Oh yes, I've read about it countless times in the adventures of Sherlock Holmes. And now I've experienced the astonishing impact of his great deduction firsthand. It's like a dream come true.
I can hardly believe it, but all the color is drained from Mr. Roylott's face. Looks like, somehow, both of Mr. Sholmes' conclusions were right.
Hell, how could you?
How could I possibly know such things, you wish to say?
Thank you for the follow, Arna Quebec. I'm guessing that's like gonna finish in Quebec. Arnock BE? Arnock BE? I don't know. I'm trying my best. But thanks for the follow. I really appreciate it.
Very well then. I shall elucidate. Shall explain how it is that I arrived at this pair of conclusions. So do I cordially invite you upon a journey of logical discovery. Let us board the train of reasoning.
He's from Belgium. Ah. All good, bud. Just Arna is fine. Ah, okay, cool. How are you doing today? Are you one of the Belgians that I know? Or are you a different Belgian? Probably a different Belgian. Because I think all the Belgians I know are named Joe something. Except for Nick.
Put plainly, let us work through my deductions together.
Same server weirdos, gotcha. Topic 1, Old Man's Identity. Conclusion.
So, the dubious-looking Russian, Mr. Roylott. Obviously what catches the eye in the first place is the enormous pair of shears in your hand. Now we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. You are on the verge of using the shears to cut away with the copious beard you sport. Now, moving on. Of question then begged is this. Why would you desire to rid yourself of that magnificent beard, Mr. Roylott? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. Regard, if you will, this morning's newspaper, in particularly a fascinating front-page article, which it would appear you have read also, Mr. Roylott. I am sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. In translation, the headline reads, Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai.
Playthrough of Doki Doki with roleplay next. No, I've already seen all of Doki Doki, so I wouldn't enjoy it. If it was like my first time, I would. I'm down to play games like that, but I love games like that. I will be playing this for a long time still, though. This game is like 30 hours long, and there's 2 of them. That's like 60 hours. So if you want me to play a different similar game next, then you have a long time to think about it. That's all I'm saying.
Having noted the article yourself, you decided to remove your incriminating facial hair before it gave you away. In short, your true identity is beyond doubt. You are the fearsome Russian revolutionary himself, villain Bolshevik. Not that I've heard of you myself, you understand. Now, as my second conclusion. You are at this very moment on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime is over there. Oh yes, Mr. Roylott. Taken unawares, people have a propensity to let their eyes stray, you see. Ah! And I assure you the eyes speak much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies in the furtive glance folds. Proof of your crime sits before our very eyes, yes, that traveling case. It's time, I think, that the case be opened and its contents laid bare.
No, I refuse.
What could you possibly be concealing inside, we ask? By my estimation, a young lady, perhaps? One slight enough to fit therein?
Don't be absurd.
And what, pray, would be the identity of this young lady in the traveling case? Dear me. We're not well suited for a life of crime, are we? Your careless coup d'oeil betrays you. I fucking don't know that word. Once again, we need only follow your furtive glance to find the answer. Yes, the reason you refuse to open your traveling case can equally be found in the pages of this newspaper. Well, there's another, more stimulating article. We were to turn from the fleeing revolutionary to the back page. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. Such a headline can lead us but to one conclusion. Your crime is that of abduction. According to the article, the young lady's name is Nikolina Pavlova. I wasn't really going for Mario or Italian. I was going for like vaguely Russian. Like Russian, but not really. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this Russian enigma. Elemensky.
Sato-san. That wasn't one of the great deductions I've been hearing so much about, was it? Well, stories are full of Mr. Sholmes' brilliant deductions, you know? But that did seem a little different somehow. Excuse me, Mr. Sholmes. Could you come over here for a moment?
Pray, what can I do for you?
It's about your deductions. Would you mind?
Not at all. Go on.
Well, to start with, there's a newspaper article. I think we had the same discussion before, but these two men look nothing like each other.
Ah, yes, I recall our discussions earlier. And at that time, I believe I told you. The man is a revolutionary, well able to revolutionize his own appearance.
In fairness to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Roylott doesn't look a lot more like this man than you do. That's not the point.
And another
thing, part about him abducting the ballerina.
Indeed, a truly startling revelation. First glance, the case would appear too small to accommodate a young woman.
Not just at first glance, it is too small. Clearly. You'd be lucky to fit a 5-year-old child in that case, even if you pushed really hard. I don't suppose the missing ballerina is a 5-year-old child, is she?
You mean you don't know? No, the young lady is 15.
No, I didn't know. How could I? Well, if she's 15, then 10 years worth of her will be poking out from the case.
Years ago, I read something pertinent, I believe. Troop of men consuming vinegar daily in order to promote a certain litheness in their bodies.
Vinegar?
For such a sour bunch, it would surely be simplicity itself to contort oneself into the confines of that small case.
Oh dear. You might be thinking of contortionists in the circus, Mr. Sholmes. This whole thing is turning into a circus. Mr. Naruhodo, something occurred to me about Mr. Sholmes' deductions just now. I think his powers of observation are, well, magical. His eyes cut to the heart of the matter almost instantly. It's just where he directs his attention and his logic that seems a little off. Your idea of a little might be a little off itself, Miss Sasudo. It's just one or two key words in his deduction that seem to let him down. So I was wondering if we might perhaps tactfully switch them for alternatives. What do you think? Switch some key words in his deductions. Yes, but very tactfully. I feel sure we could do that. We'd unlock the true genius of Mr. Sholmes' great deduction.
Precisely the thought that was going through my own mind.
This man's a lot of work.
At times, I wonder how anyone puts up with me.
It's not that funny.
Ah, and you, my good fellow.
Sorry?
Take a moment to look at your wrists.
My wrists? Ah! Where are your handcuffs? How did...
I felt they may hinder your ability to follow me in our dance of deduction.
I don't believe it. Mr. Shobes, you're a marvel. Like Iron Man or the Hulk.
And don't worry, I shall restore the shackles to your wrists when we're finished.
I'm not worried. In fact, I'd rather stay like this.
So, let us begin. Erlach Sholmes is proud to present his Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. So, the dubious-looking Russian Mr. Roylock obviously what catches the eye in the first place is the enormous pair of shears in your hand. I already did this one, so I'll just... Fingers in the face. We're using the shears to cut off the beard. To which he said, nah, dude, it's not the beard. I'm not sure. Would you really use shears like that to cut off a beard?
Doubt that's something I'll ever have to worry about. Doesn't sit quite right with me, though.
Doesn't seem to be sitting right with Mr. Roylott either.
Which means, I suppose, that the deduction's wrong.
Let's try to switch a key word here, Daruodo-san, to see if it helps the matters.
Alright, but how?
Tutorial.
Then what?
Then I'll leave the rest in your capable hands, Daruodo-san.
Am I the one to do something about this? Anyway, see if there's anything we could even switch around in that last sentence. What exactly was Mr. Roylock gonna use those enormous shears for?
Well, that. Answers the question, doesn't it?
What the? What's this?
It looks like a cascade of studded golden locks.
Oh no, the color's not the point. Point is, what's it doing on the back of Mr. Roylott's head? And how's it growing from underneath his thick black hair?
Well, yes, that's true. So it's stunningly beautiful and stunningly surprising.
Something's definitely not right here.
Yes!
You were on the verge of using those shears to cut away the golden locks you sport.
Indeed. You have identified the precise detail I was intending to expose. Such lush golden hair certainly does not befit an old man.
You're not a man at all. You're a woman. And judging from the length and sheen of your hair,
one very much still in her youth.
oh no! If only I had managed to cut off more of my hair, no one would have suspected.
And the question begged is this: why would you desire to rid yourself of those magnificent locks? Once again, the answer is plain.
You could say the wrong thing.
No, it's not. It's the other article. You goober.
That was a shock. I had no idea that old man was really a young woman in disguise. Did you? What? Why are you staring at me like that?
Yes, it was a surprise, Daruhodo-san. You're enjoying this, aren't you?
Sorry?
You look like you're in your element as you dance around the room deducing facts with Mr. Sholmes.
I'm just doing what we agreed. I'm not having fun or anything. It's strictly business.
Yes, I understand. Say no more.
Well, anyway, let's focus on this next part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction, shall we?
Norlot is actually a woman. Exactly. He, or rather she, can't possibly be this merciless or revolutionary. There's a whole taking a different turn on, yes. Let's switch the evidence for something else. Yep.
For some reason, this woman needed to try to hide her true identity. I feel as though I've either read about a young woman in a situation like that recently. Alright, I'll do my best.
Yes!
Evidence that reveals your true identity is, of course, the article about the ballerina.
That's right, you've hit the nail on the head. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. Would appear we're finally able to address you by your true name.
Yes, because your true identity is that of Novovich's ballet prima ballerina.
Miss Nikolina Pavlova.
Ah!
You're right. My real name is Nina. I mean, Nikolina Pavlova. But please, I beg you, don't tell anyone. Solved! Now, as for my second conclusion. You are at this very moment on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. More like ball and runner, am I right? You're right, dude. The proof of this crime? Over there. Oh yes, Miss Pavlova. Taken unawares, people have the propensity to lead their eyes stray, you see. And I assure you, the eyes speak much more eloquently, and blah 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 blah. I've already said this.
This woman's the ballerina and she's right in front of our eyes. Clearly she can't be inside that traveling case as well.
No, that's right. Seems she wasn't abducted at all.
In which case, what is the crime this young woman's apparently committing? See, I'm gonna have to step in and fix the great detective's mistake again.
You seem to look pleased, Naruhodo-san. You like the idea of another chance to dance around with Mr. Sholmes?
Stop it. Anyway, must be something else here that shows what this woman's up to.
Getting crunk, dude.
Wow! Look at this dazzling tiara! I've never seen anything like it.
Are those real diamonds, you think?
Oh, Naruhodo-san, try it on. What? Me? Isn't it usually girls who wear tiaras? I mean, I look real pretty with it, but maybe you try it on instead? Oh no, I couldn't possibly. It's far too beautiful. Why does this tiara look familiar? I feel like I've seen it somewhere recently.
Yes!
The proof of your crime is surely this tiara! Ah! I believe this tiara is
worn on stage by dancers in the Novovich Ballet, is it not? Indeed, it would appear to be identical to the tiara pictured here in the newspaper article. And if the reporting is to be believed, it's an item worth 20,000 rubles. In summary,
the crime you have committed is theft. Oh no.
yes, you left your ballet troupe, unlawfully taking their precious tiara with you.
Ah!
I don't fucking know.
I have no one, no family, no friends. I am all alone and I need money. I did not steal the tiara. It was a present from, how do you say, an Earl of Prussia. It belongs to me. This girl is only 15 years old. She's a runaway all by herself. She must have been extremely lonely. Alright, I will tell you everything. There is no point in hiding it now.
Come, come, let us not be hasty.
What?
There remains one unsolved mystery about you.
Mystery? What do you mean?
You staunchly refused to open this traveling case of yours in our presence. It's reasonable to conclude, therefore, that there exists some reason why you wish it to remain closed. Is that not so, Miss Pavlova? My dear girl, there's no sense in playing games with me. Nothing escapes my attention. Indeed, I have a very good idea of the contents of your case, even before I've laid eyes on them. Dear me. We're not well suited for a life of crime, are we? Your careless Coupe d'Earl betrays you. Once again, we need only follow your furtive glance to find the answer. Yes, the reason why you refuse to open your case is written in the books on the shelf.
He's completely changed tack with his deduction now. I think Mr. Shobes is adapting his logic to the changing circumstances, don't you? Maybe, but why was he suddenly brought the bookshelf into this? Just a wild guess, surely. Oh, do you think so? Well, it doesn't seem likely that the reason why this young woman doesn't want to open their case would be written in a book that doesn't even belong to her. Yes, that's true, but still. Miss Pavlova certainly did cast her eyes in that direction. I noticed it myself. And there has to be another reason why she won't open her case. And it must be somewhere in the same area if that's where her gaze is involuntarily drawn. I agree, that's the only answer. Whatever she's hidden inside that case should be revealed by following her gaze in the direction of the bookcase.
Jesus, what are we rapping? This thing.
Yes!
I don't even need to look at it.
Yes, the reason why you refuse to open your case is written in the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden.
Inside that case of yours is something forbidden from carriage in this vessel. That's the real reason why you refuse to open it, thus revealing its contents.
As we've seen, the trunk wobbles from time to time. No weapon or dangerous item would move on its own accord.
Which leaves but one possibility, Miss Pavlova. Inside your traveling case.
It's the last item listed as forbidden in the vessel's rules of passage. A pet. Got her.
Elementary.
Clearly you aren't who you said you were.
No, I'm not Grimsby Royalot. My real name is Nikolina Pavlova. Everything you said was correct. You absconded during one of your ballet company's performances in order to escape to your homeland. Escape from your homeland. Later that same night, you stole aboard this vessel.
It couldn't have been easy. The Booyah is a huge steamship with a vast crew. Did you really have snuck on board without being noticed?
In order to obscure your true identity, you somewhat recklessly took the guise of an old gentleman. You intended to sever all links with your past by severing your long hair. Yet to a woman, hair is no trifling matter. My personal recommendation is to leave well alone.
It was just you, about to cut off your own hair. Who was it to let out the scream you heard from outside the cabin?
A veritable tinkling of a bell, why? None other than this young lady, naturally.
More like a full set of pipes, if you ask me. I was so scared when I ran away in Shanghai. I was sure they would come looking for me. That's why I decided to, how do you say, disgust myself? So no one would recognize me. As a result, you transformed yourself into that questionable old man. I see. I put on the fur hat and the fake beard. Then just before you came in here, I saw in the newspaper. Right on the page, there was a picture of me. I was so frightened, I couldn't stop from screaming. I knew that if I didn't change my appearances completely, they would find me. I decided to cut all my hair as fastly as possible. Picked up the scissors in my hand and...
That precise moment, we walked through the annoyingly unlocked cabin door.
Things happen like that sometimes, don't they?
Things do indeed happen like that from time to time.
Those two even talking about the same thing? There's just one more thing I'd like to know. What exactly do you have inside your traveling case? You were right. It is my dear friend inside. My only friend in the whole world. Please, Don't tell anyone. If the captain finds out, if you say it to any of the crew.
The secret is safe with us, I assure you. But in return, you must tell us, in much detail as you can muster, about the events of last night.
Yes, alright. I will tell you.
Well, Mr. Daruhodo? Was it something, Mr. Shobe's great deduction?
It was certainly something, yeah. Just not entirely sure what. At least Miss Pavlova has agreed to tell us what she knows. That's incredible.
Indeed, it is incredible. Ah, and one more thing.
Oh, yeah. What?
Observe your wrists.
My... Duh! Your heads! They're cuffed again! What? But how?
True to my word, I have restored your shackles.
When and why?
There's still a shadow of guilt cast over you, Mr. Daruhodo. I'm sorry to say, it can't be helped at the moment.
Can't it? Really?
Anyway, let's listen to what Miss Pavlova has to say. Can't go on not knowing. We have to find out what the speckled man that Kazuma-sama wrote in his diary really was. And we will find out tomorrow! Stream's probably starting at 6 p.m. CEST tomorrow. Not 5 p.m. Because I'll start my new job and I'll be working until 4 p.m. So I want to at least be able to eat. So yeah, 6 p.m. tomorrow. I'll see you then. And yeah, thank you for hanging out. Really appreciate you. And I'll see you tomorrow.